a Dredfunn original production. Please sit back and enjoy.
Hey guys, Dredfunn here with another one of my time-lapse video uploads. Woo! We're drawing Ric Flair. This video will be preemptively interrupted with woo! Every now and again. Ric Flair turned 70 the other day, so I'm pretty pumped. Anyways, this was an image that I saw online of Ric Flair in one of his fabulous golden and red robes. The reason why I did this, not only do I love Ric Flair, but I had some this glitter gold paint that I wanted to use. So here I am. I've got some. I made some measurements of where his eyes and mouth are going to go, and then it's just contouring it, making sure that I'm following certain details. This is another one of these ones where I am going to come about and ink it. So it's loose. It's a loose pencil. It's not as tight as my realistic pencils, or as tight as any type of pencil that I would show for someone else to ink professionally. So yeah, a lot of focus on the robe, so I don't have to work too much on Mr. Ric's fabulous 70-year-old physique. Not that he's 70 in this one. I mean, I think he's in his, I don't know if he's in his prime. It looks like he's probably in his 50s, 40s, who knows. He's timeless. Woo! So yeah, little things, you know what? I may have like little ticks where I've taken my pencil and measured it, and I then go in and realize it just doesn't look right. Right there on the collar, I can remember that. I had to pull that out. I didn't like the way it looked, and I had to change it a bit and add a little bit of a loop there. So now I'm going over. Yeah, this is actually unusual. I don't normally do this. I'm even adding some dark pencils. I guess I did that. So yeah, I darkened. I even added another layer of pencils. Ric Flair deserves it. Ric Flair deserves as many pencils as it needs to make Ric Flair look awesome. Woo! But yeah, so now we're doing the robe, and I knew there was no way I was going to detail every last little frill and swirl and style and profile and diamond that he's got, but I knew that I was just going to get it as close to as possible. So these images they may look random, but they're not. I'm trying to follow what I see, little swirls that I'm only going to lightly go over with one of my very, very thin micron pens, and then I'm going to go ahead and paint this. So I'm following the laws of comic books, and these are laws that I made up myself because I don't think comic books follow them anymore. So I guess it's the laws of Stan Lee's comic books for his era. Yeah, I even add a nice little ring in the background. I thought it would look great. So here I am inking it. Using, I believe it is, yeah, my 01. So my thinnest, yeah, my thinnest micron. And normally, yeah, like this one I am gonna, yeah, right around there, those are parts that are gonna get darkened with my speedball ink and a brush, I hope. If not, we'll find out together. This drawing was probably done a year to 2 years ago. A lot of my drawings get done way in advance before me sharing them fully. It's just the nature of the game. So now we're finishing up the fringes and the robes. For that part I would have used a thicker pen. I tend to use a thicker pen for all the outside lines, and then for the thinner stuff I go in there and use usually my 0.1. Why do I do this? Well, for one, I want a thicker line or a thinner line, but when I'm doing those flowy zippity-doo lines, like where his robe is bunched up, having almost like that marker feel to the nib, the tip, it flows. Not as good as a brush, which I will then go ahead and at the very end I will add a little bit of black. You can see even in the underside of the robe I'm going to come back and add black there. The reason is I want it to look like a comic image, a classic comic image that was painted and inked by hand back in the day. Again, I remember this part was driving me crazy. I'm like, oh man, I can't imagine the people that make his robes. There, I changed something up again. I didn't like the way that the belt looked wrapped up, so I added a little loopy loop there and made it come back around. Little things that the original image wasn't perfect. It was an older image that was kind of blurry when I blew it up, but still enough. You can see I already know I'm just going to leave the boots dark, but all that area that's unexposed without the little fringes and the swirlies is going to be colored gold, and all the other areas are going to be colored red. There was a big debate in my own mind whether I wanted to do red gold or gold blue. Both I love. The only other one I love more is his pink and black feathery one with the feathery collar that he wears. So here we are. Yeah, I am not using watercolor paint. This is actual Doc Martin ink. So it works a little bit like watercolor paint, but you don't have the luxury of being able to come back. See how I'm doing the belt? I couldn't then go back to the under fringe and add more while it's drying because it's already dried. It's so fast. So what I find helps me is any area that I have a large part that I'm going to add ink. I don't have any in this particular one, but I use a much thicker brush and I try to get it down as quick as possible. And for this sort of niggly, tippy, doing all this little stuff, it's a fine liner. It's actually a custom designed fine liner, one of a kind. No one else in the world has it. I bought this fine liner from Michael's, and then frustrated that it wasn't working the way I wanted to, I took my razor and cut across it. So it's technically a fine liner that's been cut, so I can get a slightly thicker line, and when I turn it, and you can see how it hooks, I can do all kinds of neat little details. It's taken me a while to figure this out. I had to look at other brushes, cut them, and I don't know why. I do weird things sometimes in desperation. So here we are. I'm not adding any skin tones. So this is a drawing, something I do where I'm going to do everything in a gray tone and then only add one or two colors. The one or two colors are obviously red, and then this this gold paint that I'd picked up for a commission that I'd done a while back. Really, this paint, I guess it's ink actually. It's awful to work with. It's like what I imagine painting with snot would be like. It's not like painting with ink or watercolor paint, which adheres to water rules. You know what I mean? Like water. This stuff is viscous. It's got like almost a stickiness. So I'm just, again, this is ink that I've mixed with like 70% water, 80% water, depending. Now this is the gold paint, which has got sparkles in it, which really looks great. You can't really see how spectacular it looks in the printed images or this online image here on YouTube. The in-person image really has the sparkle. One of a kind, just like the Nature Boy. Woo! We didn't have enough woos. So here we are. What I've done is I've actually added some water to the gold paint, because when you add it just straight up, it's really thick and not so nice in what I was looking to do. So I'm adding, again, this is just it's an ink water wash. How I get that effect is you just gotta wait until it's dry, and then again I'm adding more. This is like, that would be a high concentration of water and a little bit of ink, or no, a lot of ink and a little bit of water. Here I'm adding almost a full concentration of the gold ink. You can see it right there in the bottom corner there. It's a thick gooey type of material. It's buoyant. It's, when it dries, it sort of adheres to it, but it was fun to work with. The original commission drawing I did, it looks awesome, and this one was a lot of fun, and I've used it for other things here and there. But yeah, we're just wrapping it up, and then kind of like I said before with my realistic pencils, the magic happens at the very end when I pull out the graphite. With this, the magic happens at the very end when I add the black ink. What I'm using is a shiny speedball black ink. I don't think it's technically called shiny, but it shines. It has a gloss to it, which other inks don't. And I used to exclusively just use that kind of ink, but I recently got some of that Doc Martin ink, which came with some black, and I've used that too, and it's opened up a whole new world of possibilities. I've almost emptied the whole jar working on other commissions. But yeah, again, this is just adding little bits of that gold and waiting for the darn stuff to dry, which took forever. And again, I'm trying to symbolize, you know, maybe some people. Here we are, using my fine liner and 100% ink, no water to this at all. So when it dries, it's going to be the darkest color on the page, and that is going to bring all the other colors together on the page. It sort of mutes them a little bit, but in doing so, as you see when I'm doing his the under part of his fringe, it really does make it come together. Part of me wanted to go in there and re-detail some of the swirls and the stuff on his lapel, but I could see where it was going, and I didn't. So this is just almost like a loose ink where those certain areas that I've marked with an X, I'm then going in and adding the ink. Nice fringe of white hair, because it is a black and white image with just two colors. Just so happens, much like with Ric Flair, those two colors are woo spectacular. So anyways, hope you guys like this video. Who knows if Rick will see it? I doubt it. He's a busy man. But maybe some of you fans can, and hope there's a lot of woos going across the world, at least across YouTube. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification. Dredfunn out. Woo!
This has been a Dredfunn.com production. Thanks for watching.